Welcome to Parade Academy, dear students. Uh, so this is standard 7 and English. Okay, English. So this is 4.3. We discuss in this chapter all question answer. You can get all question answer in this video. So come to the first 115 and 116 page. This is read and find. You can watch in your textbook. Choose the most suitable heading for each part. So in wait for the enemies. So how neighbors turned enemies in search for the enemy, face to face with the enemy, enemies snared together, bitter exchange of words, reality begins to dawn, the change of heart begins, enemies agree to be friends, then anxious to help each other, united in death. So these are the suitable headings you can write. Okay, then come to the comparison question answer. This is most important for you. So you just pause this video and write your answer. So who was Ulrich waiting for in the forest and why? He was waiting for George, who was his enemy. He wanted to catch him poaching on his land and then kill him for it. So, which part Ulrich's land had been the cause of a dispute? It was a narrow strip of hilly woodland. What is Ulrich asked his foresters to do? He had asked his foresters to watch out for George, who he thought would be poaching on his land. The next question is question number 4. Where did Ulrich find his enemy? He found him standing by trunk of huge tree. Next, question number 5. Why did the two men not fire at each other? Before they could fire at each other, a huge tree came crashing over them. Next, question number 6. I can scarcely see anything. Who said this and why? It was George who said this. He could scarcely see anything because there was so much blood around his eyes. Next, question number 7. What was it that brought a change in Ulrich's hearts? Ulrich saw his enemy groaning in pain. He felt a sort of a pity for them. He offered to give him his bottle of wine also. He felt his old hearted dying down in him. Clearly, there was a change of a heart in him. The next question number 8. What do you think happened to the two men in the end? I think the two men must have been killed by the wolves in the end. What role do wolves play in the story? There is a wolf in each one of us. If we fail to keep it in check, it comes out and devours us. The wolves in the story have been used as symbol of his very wolf in man. Okay, then both Ulrich and George failed to control the wolf of a mutual hatred in their heart. Ultimately, this wolf becomes the cause of their own end. Next, come to the question number 10. So, pause this video and write your answer. Then, what part does nature play in the story? Nature plays the role of George in this story. The two enemies are out kill each other. Each has a rifle with him, but before they can act, nature gets a hold of them. Then she sends the wolves to deliver her justice. Then question number 1. Next. So answer each in 80 to 100 words. So this is the long answer type. So what did the two men think about their being rescued? Both the men had kept their men on watch in the forest. George said that his men were close behind. He also sure that they would reach the first and drag him out from under the tree. Then they would roll the trunk on top of Ulrich and thus kill him. But Ulrich hoped his men would be there any moment and get him out, but they hardly knew what nature had planned for them. Next question number 2. So describe the meeting between Ulrich and George in the forest. While looking for George in the forest, Ulrich comes to a huge tree. As he turns round the trunk, he comes face to face with George. Each has a rifle in his hand, but before they can shoot at each other, a huge tree falls on them. In no way it is possible for them to get out from under the tree. Each starts crossing the other. George says his men were close behind. They would come and kill Ulrich. To this, Ulrich says that his men would reach there earlier and kill George. But as we know, nature has her own plans to teach them a lesson. Then, what is the dispute between the two families? How is it resolved? The two families were neighbors in the days of Ulrich's grandfather. The neighboring family had an illegal possessions of some land that belonged to the other family. The dispute was taken to court. The judgment came in favor of Ulrich's family. The other party had never accepted it. There were frequent clashes between the two families. The family feud now turned into personal feud when Ulrich and George became the heads of their respective families. The next question: who is the first to make an offer of friendship? How is it received? It is Ulrich who makes the first offer to friendship. He has a wine flask with him. He feels quite warm when he drinks some wine from it. Seeing his enemy in great pain, he feels some pity for him. He offers to give him the wine, but George says, I don't drink with an enemy. However, Ulrich, old hearted, seems to be dying down. He offers to help George when his men would reach there. At this, George also says, I will be your friend. Then come to the HOTS question. So, what do you mean by poaching? Who would you call a poacher in the story and why? A poacher is a person who hunts birds, animals, or fish on somebody else's property. In this story, we can call George to be the poacher because the land now legally belongs to the unrich family. However, on the other hand, George thinks the court decision has been unjust and that the land still rightfully belongs to them. That is why he does not think himself a poacher. The next question, this is question number 2. So the two men had agreed to be friends. Then, do you think the story should have ended differently? So the two men had carried their enmity too far. They were going to kill each other. So nature decided to teach them a lesson, though they had changed their minds and had decided to be friends, yet they could still revert to their old enmity. So nature thought it is best to end their story there and then, and I don't think any other ending of the story would have been so touching and appropriate. Then, word power. Complete the following table. So, fill in the blanks in this table. So, noun, verb, adjective, and adverb. Bitterness, bitter, bitter, and bitterly. So ability, noun ability, enable, able, ably. Width, within, wide, widely. Justice, justify, just, justly. Use, useful, usefully. Attention, attend, attentive, attentively. So you can pause this video and write your answer easily. Strength, strengthen, strong, strongly. And quickness, quicken, quick, quickly. Fool, be fool, foolish, foolishly. Hatted, hate, hateful, hatefully. Beauty, beautiful, beautify, beautiful, beautifully. Drama, dramatize, dramatic, dramatically. So now rewrite each sentence using may or might. So first, perhaps Lucy is in the office. Lucy might be in her office. Lucy might have been in her office. Perhaps Lucy is busy. Lucy may or might be busy. Lucy might have been busy. So perhaps she is working. She may or might be working. She might have been working. Perhaps she is unhappy today. She may or might be unhappy today. She might have been unhappy today. Perhaps she does not working now. She may or might not be working now. She might not have been working now. So perhaps she wants to be alone. She may or might want to be alone. She might have wanted to be alone. Now write about Tom. Use might where necessary. So he is playing tennis tomorrow afternoon. He might go out his evening. He is not working tomorrow. He might watch the match on television. Then speaking and listening, you can read this thing at your do this activity in your class, and you can write this thing in your copy. Write well. You love your neighbor as yourself. You can write, and so you write in your copy, notebook copy. So that's it. The end. So the end. So this chapter is already completed. So just subscribe and like and share this video, and wait for next video. Thank you.